Hey.
Are we,
Hey, everybody.
hey. You like who is it that you sound like?
The Fonz.
The Fonz, yes.
Yeah, the Fonz is my boy.
Really?
No doubt. Hey, guys, we're a couple minutes early, as we usually do. Give people a chance to hop in, probably share this on the various Facebook pages.
Yeah, that's.
And once people kind of start getting in, then we'll kick it off. So once you jump in, say what up in the comments.
I don't know how to use Facebook. Yes, I do. I'm so slow. Okay. That's enough.
Did you get it?
Yep.
Faster than me.
You guys want to hear a funny story? So today, Sunday at church, we had church. Our kids did the kids' church thing. We were eating lunch. We were on our way. Yeah, we were on our way to my parents' house for lunch. And Ryan was wearing a very pretty dress that she had picked out that morning. And Ryan says, "Mom, no one was watching me while I danced today." And we're like, "Oh, okay, well, whatever." And I said, "Why did you think somebody would tell me about that? Why did you want somebody to watch?" "Well, I was wearing this pretty dress and I was dancing and no one was looking."
Jackson goes, "That's because everyone else was also dancing."
And hey, Virgil, thanks for coming on.
Hey, Virgil. Man, how did it go down south? Everything go sweet?
So I was like, oh my gosh, we have a problem on our hands with Ryan. She thinks people should be watching her and admiring her all the time, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's our daughter for you.
Yes.
Awesome. Hey, as people are jumping in, room's populating up. Hey, throw down in the comments just a what's up, right, or a hi, whatever a yo. What else?
Hey,
you can do the Fonz like I did when we started the video. Give us a little what's up in the comments so we know who's all here. Then we're gonna jump in here. I'll probably jump in here in another maybe minute or two. Let people hop in, and then we'll go from there.
Yep. What else? I had a big win today. So Jackson, our oldest, is 10, and he's resistant to housework.
No doubt.
And normally he doesn't have nice things to say about it, and he's not always diligent, which is a big thing that we're learning, and all that. So today he had to clean his bathroom, and normally that would be a big struggle and a lot of me going back and saying, well, you got to do this correctly and all that, whatever. So I told him he needed to clean his bathroom. There were no tears, and it was good attitude, and he did it really well. And I was like, oh my gosh, parenting.
Hallelujah.
Something works sometimes. Yes. I was so impressed with him, and I told him, dude, I don't like cleaning. Very few people love cleaning. We like clean things, but it's okay to not like it, but we want to be diligent and we want to do a good job and not throw a fit every time and all that sort of thing, So I feel like maybe he has taken the lead with learning some of that a little bit. So
that's right. So years from now, if you're watching this and you are married to one Jackson Warnock, you can send your thank you letter to Andrea Warnock at whatever address we are living at that time.
Trying hard to prepare my children to be great adults and great spouses. So.
That's right. Hey, Virgil, I'm thrilled to hear that it went well down there. It looked like you guys were suited up and ready to roll. And thank you so much for the kind words, man. We appreciate that. And I'm going to get at you this week so that we can start talking about having an education, having you on Marriage by Design so we can talk education.
Yeah,
I think that would be equal parts insightful and I'm sure inflammatory for people on the internet. So I'm going to get at you for that. Thanks for being willing to do that. Rosa, dude, I love you, man.
Hey, Josh.
Thanks for popping on and being here.
Yeah. What else? Lincoln woke me up like 8 times last night.
So that's lots of fun.
So hopefully the bags under my eyes aren't too obvious.
That's funny. Man,
Whatever.
Virgil, thank you for sharing this.
Yeah,
I appreciate
thank
that.
you.
That's great. Okay, so let's jump right in, right? Well, while more people, I'm sure, are popping in, here's what we got going on for our Sunday Hangouts. So this is a show that we do every Sunday. So I'm Nathan Warnock.
I'm Andrea Warnock.
And we are Marriage by Design. This is a channel that we have on YouTube as well as podcast form where we talk about what is God's design for marriage, right? What's the Bible say about what marriage is, and how do we practically live that out in our lives? And then also as a part of this, so we do every Monday, we have a show called Marriage Monday that comes out, and then every Friday, we have a show called Family Friday that comes out. And that show is really talking about God's design for family, right? What did God intend the nuclear family to be? What is our role as parents and as leaders in our family? And how do we practically live that out? So then this show on Sunday nights, once a week, we do a live show. And that's tonight, Sunday, fun day. And we recap the shows from the week before and then just spend a little time setting up the upcoming week of shows. So if you're just jumping in, love you to like our Facebook page. Would appreciate that. It's Marriage by Design podcast. And then 2 things you can do for us. Either if you prefer video format, open up another tab in your browser, pop over to YouTube and search Marriage by Design. You will see our YouTube page. Give that a subscribe so that you're notified when new episodes come out every Monday and every Friday. If you're
I'm subscribing a bell, right?
Yeah, so hit subscribe and then hit the little bell icon. That'll let you know when things go up. Also, if you would prefer and you're an audio individual, that's cool. Then pop over to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, whatever you're into, and check us out on Marriage by Design. You can catch the audio only there. So here's the episodes that we had this week that we're going to talk about a little bit. Angie, thanks for popping in. Thanks for joining us. And Virgil, man, thanks for sharing that. Angie, hope you will give us a listen and maybe give us some feedback as you hear what we talked about this week. So we're going to recap the 2 shows that we came out with this week. The first show we came out on Monday, last Monday, and it is an ongoing series we're doing in November talking about marriage mentoring. We had our mentors on, and you may hear that and think, well, that's kind of a weird word. Like I've heard of marriage counselors. I'm not really sure about this mentoring thing. Really, what we found is, whereas counseling is more focused on, hey, you're going to come meet with this trained professional in a sterile environment. They're going to hear you share, and they're going to offer some professional guidance.
Right.
Mentoring is really coming alongside you as a couple
to do life with
and
you.
Doing life together with you, right? Serving as an example.
Somebody who's further along in their marriage walk, life walk, all that,
That's right.
I think about it. I think you said this on one of these Mondays. Think about it like a trainer at the gym. If you replace trainer with like mentor, like a workout mentor, somebody who is further along in their fitness journey than you.
Yep.
And can give you some tips and pointers and say, yeah, that's not the right form. Let's change that. That's not going to, that's going to hurt you. And cheer you on along the way.
Right.
And then you can go back to when you're having some problems or plateaus,
That's right. And if I worked out, I'd know what you were talking about right now. So.
You do. We have 4 kids. That's a workout.
That's right. So we had Tim and Carla, who are our mentors, on. We're having them on all month in November. And what we talked about last Monday with Tim and Carla was, what's the benefit of having a mentor in your marriage? And what are some pitfalls of not having it? So let's maybe just give a quick recap of what your thoughts were on that. And then certainly we'll put in the comments a link to the episode so people can check it out.
Sure. So it depends upon your personality as far as, so mentoring can be a hard thing because you're like exposing yourself, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And for me, I don't have a problem with that. it's not hard for me to tell you where I struggle, and it's hard for me to tell you how I feel about that, but to tell you where I struggle and the things I do wrong and the things I do well and all that sort of thing, like I'm an open book. So, but for some people that may be really difficult to do that, but to open yourself up to mentors and be super raw with them. But that's a really important and vital part of mentoring that you have to be super raw so that the issues can be worked on, the great things can be encouraged, and you can move along, always getting better.
That's right. For me, we can really boil that episode down into, the challenge. Marriage is not easy, right? I mean, if you've been married, there are challenging things with regards to marriage. And that's let alone if you approach it from a Christian standpoint, because if you approach it from a Christian standpoint, not only is your marriage going to get no respect from the postmodern world we live in, but your marriage is going to be under immediate attack from spiritual forces, right? Because Satan wants to tear it down. So having somebody to come alongside in community and help point us out when we're acting the fool and we don't even realize it, or when we're starting to get just a little bit off, right, of center, and to be able to call us on the carpet when we need to, and to be able to just be an example for us. I mean, that's a huge piece of it, is just to be an example that I can look at Tim and really be inspired as a man, as a father, as a husband, because I see who he is and where he's come from and how he's grown, and it encourages me to keep running the race.
Right.
So I put the link to that episode in right there in the chat. So feel free to click that and either save it or check that out. And I just put in the YouTube link, but certainly you can check out the audio only as well if you want to.
Of course.
So that was what we did on Monday. Friday. So our episode on Friday talked about I think I called it top 10 roles, responsibilities of a parent.
Can you do your impersonation first before we get into that?
So you've got to know your role and shut your mouth. That's pretty much, if The Rock's watching right now, I'm sure he's like,
so proud
that
of
was
you.
Basically me.
So proud of you.
Yeah. One thing if you're watching this right now is me and The Rock are basically the same person.
Oh. Okay.
We're almost exactly the same.
All right.
We both love Jumanji. What?
That's true.
So we talked about what are the top 10 roles of parents. Now, I'm going to go through and list these out. I will put a link in the link or in the chat here in just a moment, so you can have access to that video as well. Mm-hmm. And again, as we're popping through there, as guys are jumping in and out, man, give us a what's up in the chat. I'd love to know who's watching, because I can see a number of people are watching, but I don't get to see who. So please put in the chat. If you had an opportunity to listen to the episodes this week and you had questions or thoughts, man, throw those down in the chat too.
That's a lot of what we're here for, is to answer questions or hear your thoughts. We want to hear people's thoughts. We don't want to be like an echo chamber of our own thoughts, because that just creates insanity. Totally.
If you listened to our stuff this week and you thought you're way off base, I want to hear that too.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not an infallible person, and you may totally have a good point of something that we didn't think about, or a way that I'm off base. So, please, if you listen to something and you thought that's whack, then, tell me. Okay. So here were the top 10 roles of a parent as we were thinking about this. And then I would love you, even while you're hearing these, to give us your thoughts or give us some additional ones that you thought of.
Yep.
So I'm going to list them, babe. And then you give me give the folks 2 sentences on what that is.
Oh gosh.
Okay. How's that? Okay. Training your children.
So that means you're individually, seeing them as an individual, needing love and care and discipline as an individual throughout their life, to train them up in the ways of the Lord, so that when they're old, those truths never depart from them.
That's right. Proverbs says it. Train up your children in the way they should go, and when they're old, it will not depart from them.
And so it's
hey, Priscilla, what's up?
Yeah, hey. It's a constant training, just like training Jackson to clean the bathroom. It's repetitive, constant, ongoing throughout their whole time that they're in your home.
We need to talk about bitterness, apparently.
I'm not bitter.
Okay, number 1, train. Number 2, discipline.
Discipline. So it's discipling in punishment. No.
Yeah.
It's using, it's when they are missing the mark, when your kids are not doing the things that they should be doing, it's training them up with discipline in order to learn the lesson, not to just punish for like, I'm angry, so I'm gonna wreck your life right now. That's not the thing. Discipline is meant to teach a lesson and encourage to overcome.
It's great. Number 3, teach.
Teach. So this was specifically teach about God and his faithfulness. So as Christian parents, our responsibility is to teach them about the Lord, teach them about the things of the Lord and all of his amazing things that he's done in our lives and in other people's lives. And teaching about God and his faithfulness. Okay,
train, discipline, teach, model good character.
So it's the do as I, what is it? What's the don't do as I do as I say, not acting on that. So teaching them, but being the person that you're asking them to be as well, modeling the character that you're asking them to have. And I think important in that is when you fail, admitting that and apologizing for that.
That's right. And we spent a lot of time in our episode on Friday going through the biblical support for each of these. So love you to check that out too. If you're looking for, hey, where in the Bible can I find some more information about that or some support for that?
Sure.
Number 5, disciple.
Yeah. So disciple is, well, I know the Latin form of it, discipuli, which means student, because Jackson's learning Latin. So discipuli,
we're just humble,
is where we get our
Americans.
Word disciple. Student. So see your kids as students of the word, which means that we're helping them to understand the word and the Lord and who God is, but also showing them how to have a relationship with the Lord. So teaching them to study the word, teaching them to go deeper, teaching them what prayer is and how to have a good prayer life, teaching them what it is to meditate on the Lord and be quiet before the Lord, to hear the Lord's voice, teaching all that and discipling them as students.
Yeah, great. Show compassion.
Show compassion. So it's kind of an obvious one, but
what is compassion? I think it'd be hard for people to understand that.
I think trying to understand them from their point of view.
Yeah.
So as parents, we come at them. At least Nathan and I, we come at our children a lot of times from our 30-year-old minds. We see
in case you didn't hear, that's 28. Andrea's 28. So we come at it from our 28-year-old minds.
We see them a lot of times and their problems and the things that they're going through from our adult minds. And it's hard to have empathy, sympathy, compassion, because it's like, yeah, not a big deal. There's way bigger problems. Or this will happen,
which may be true. I mean, it may, right? I mean,
sure,
it may be true factually.
Sure. But showing compassion, even when compassion and discipline is important, which I can fail on for sure because I'm frustrated, but showing compassion with, I love you, I need to discipline you, I want better for you, you can be better, and all that, showing compassion when they're struggling with something and trying to see it through their eyes, and maybe even sitting with them in their grief. We talked a little bit about that.
Yep.
So being compassionate, even though it can be hard sometimes because the things that they want compassion on seem silly, but for them it's not.
Good, baby. So train, discipline, teach, model good character, disciple, show compassion. Number 7, provide.
Provide. So we should be providing for their needs, providing for their emotional health.
It's big. That's a big piece of it.
Yeah.
We think of providing as money, but that's probably not even that's definitely not the most important provision we give to our kids.
Right. Emotional, spiritual, physical. We need to be providing for all of those needs.
Right. Number 8, protect.
Yeah, this can come in the way of a lot of different things. Protecting them from maybe relationships that are harmful to them, protecting them from technology. We beat that drum a lot, but protecting them from the dangers of that technology can bring in, which is just real.
Right.
Protecting them from just anything that they need to be protected from, because they're young and they need help with that, and they're innocent, so they have a worldview that's like everything is rainbows and unicorns, and the reality is not that all the time. So protecting their little minds and souls and bodies.
That's right. Number 9, steward, not own.
This is the hardest one for me. So children are a gift to us. They're not ours to own. They're not ours forever. So God gives children to us to steward for a time and then launch them like arrows, right? Mm-hmm. But it should be freeing too, because I don't own their actions. Mm-hmm. Their actions are their own. I try to teach and model a character and discipline and all that sort of thing, and we fail. Believe me, we fail. But I'm trying to do all this for the glory of the Lord, and to teach them the ways of the Lord. And they are going to choose their own path. They're going to choose their own actions. So having that mentality of like, their actions don't necessarily reflect on me, or their choices don't, but also knowing that at some point I need to let them go. Yeah. And I need to train them up for that. And then that's my calling in life, is to train them up and let them go. And I don't own them. Yeah. We see, unfortunately, parents that get tripped up in this all the time. And there may be somebody on here right now that just got on that just needs to hear this. You do not own your children. Therefore, you do not have to own their actions. Right. So you may have high school kids, you may have adult kids that are choosing to reject what you have plainly taught to them as they grew up. You do not own that, right? They have free will. They make the choices as they make them. If you, before the Lord, can say, hey, we did the best we could before the Lord to train them up in the way that they should go, don't own that, right? Don't let their acting the fool drag you down. Right? Take solace in the fact that you have trained them up, and the Holy Spirit will call that training to their attention at the time that He desires. Yeah, and then the last one that we talked about was nurture. And maybe I just stared at you while you talked on that episode, but I don't remember. So nurturing is here's a big piece of nurturing, is really pouring into our children's emotional growth. Yeah. Right? I mean, there are so many people that are walking around this earth as 20, 30, 40, 50 plus year olds who all they want in their whole life is to hear their dad say, I'm proud of you, or I love you. Oh, yes. I remember. And so, really, when we were talking about nurturing, a lot of the encouragement, and you can, if your kids are awake you can go do this right now. Go tell them, I love you. And I'm proud of you. Yeah, particularly if you have girls, and particularly if you're a dad, go tell your daughters, look them in the eyes, put your hands on their cheeks like this, and say, I love you. Guaranteed their face is going to light up with a smile. Same thing, mothers to your sons, do the same thing and say, I'm proud of you. That's one thing I learned from Nathan in parenting, is to be proud of our kids just for who they are. Mm-hmm. You don't necessarily have to, you can be proud of them, and we are proud of our kids, and we tell them that for when they do things that are right or great or whatever. But just being proud of, like, I'm proud of you without you doing anything. Yep. I love you without you doing anything. Yeah. Yeah. It's great. Really important. Really important. So I'll run those 10 by you one more time. And then if you have questions or thoughts, comments, ones that you think that should have been added, please shoot them out there for us. But the 10 that we talked about in our video, which I've put the link in the chat, top 10 responsibilities of parents. Train up our kids, discipline our kids, teach our children, model good character to our children, disciple our children, show compassion to our children, provide for our children, protect our children, steward, not own our children, and nurture our children. Those were the 10 that we talked about. So do any of you have any thoughts on those, or some that you think should be added, or questions? Yeah. Or mentoring questions?
Yeah. Any questions on the things we talked about this last week? Give a second for those to get populated.
We're supposed to go on a trip this weekend with our mentors, because they're friends too.
Yep.
To visit some other friends of ours, and COVID squashed that.
Yeah.
I'm so sad.
Yeah.
So we had to stay home.
Yeah, it is too bad.
But we were really looking forward to spending some time with
Yeah.
our mentors, who again have become great friends of ours. So it's not like a whole weekend of mentoring. But we were looking forward to spending some time with them, and also getting together with some good friends. But that's become our mentor relationship with the people who've mentored us. Is we enjoy hanging out with them and taking trips with them. We still go to them when we feel like we're stuck.
Yep.
But it's a great relationship. It's super fun.
No doubt. No doubt. All right. So if you watch this video after the fact and you have questions or thoughts about those, feel free to put them in the comments. We answer 100% of the comments that get posted up. So please feel free to put those up as you think of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about this upcoming week of shows. Mm-hmm. So we have 2 shows for you this coming week. Marriage Monday, which will come out tomorrow morning about 5. And then Family Friday, which will come out Friday morning about the same time. So for Marriage Monday, what do we have going on, babe?
We're talking to Tim and Carla again.
Yep.
About mentoring. Again. No, we're talking about, I don't know, how to find a mentor.
That's right.
Oh, guys, my brain. I think I say that every week. Yeah, how to find a mentor. So I think we even talk about it like, I'm hunting for, like Elmer Fudd. I'm hunting for Webbits, But you have to be intentional, just like Elmer Fudd. He was intentional on finding those Webbits.
That's right. Yeah, and it really is on you. I mean, I think one of the big mistakes that people can make with regards to mentoring is we get in our mind that there's this group of people at our church that are just sitting around hoping to mentor someone, and they're going to telepathically understand that I need mentoring and just show up, right? What we try to get through in our videos, you be intentional, right? I mean, seek that out,
right?
On both ways, and next Monday we're going to talk about how to be a good mentor, right? I mean, you've got to be intentional on both sides, but it starts with finding a mentor by being intentional about find a couple in your life at your church, right, in your sphere of influence that has a marriage you want to have, and then go to them and intentionally ask, hey, would you be willing to take some time to get together with us once a week, once a month, once a quarter for the next year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever, and intentionally pursue that, right? That's probably the biggest thing that you'll hear come across tomorrow morning is be intentional.
Be intentional. Yep.
That's right. Okay, then Friday. Ooh. So here's the deal, guys. Friday is a show that we have been looking forward to doing. At least I have been looking forward to doing because I think it is a really interesting topic. And that is, how does the media around us affect our family? It
is very interesting.
Yes. So we're going to talk about, I found a study that Andrew and I have been pouring through from a couple years back. But the study, so the study was done a couple years back. It was very recently published. And basically what the story is doing is saying how interesting the divisions between what people watch who are self-identified as liberal versus what people watch who are self-identified as conservatives versus people who kind of have mixed views in what they watch. And what they realized was people are very segregated in the types of shows that they watch.
Yeah.
People who consider themselves conservative have very different viewing habits than people who are liberal. And not only that, but they have very different viewpoints on life around them. In fact, the article even gets into of people that self-identify as liberal versus self-identify as conservative, which is identified as the happiest group and which is identified as the least happy group.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that a little bit on our show on Friday. Now, it's not going to be all political, right? I mean, that's not really the purpose of Family Friday. A lot of times the purpose of what we want to do with regards to media is talk a little bit about this study because it's really interesting, but also then dig into really what Paul asked in 1st and 2nd Corinthians, when you flip open to 1st and 2nd Corinthians and you look at Paul's letter, the church in Corinth the city of Corinth was essentially Las Vegas of Asia Minor back in the day. I mean, it was a central hub. All of the prostitutes were centered there. They had all sorts of religions that were going up there, and a lot of the ways they worshiped those idols was through sexual, giving and taking of sexual prostitutes. And so it was crazy town, right? And what Paul goes to the church in Corinth there, and what he says in both of them, and they're hard letters. I mean, Paul lets them have it a little bit, but basically what Paul's saying is really what the question we want to ask in our Family Friday, which is, who's impacting whom?
Right.
Are you impacting the society around you, or is the things you're allowing into your home through your television set, through your cell phone,
computer in a pocket,
are those things impacting you? That's the question we really want to ask. And we want to talk about, how does the devolution of the media, and I don't mind spoiling that the media is not on the side of you as a Christian family. It's not. I mean, there are very few people that are sitting around Hollywood and these other studios going, man, how can we make things that are really nurturing to the Christian family? Right? Very few.
Sure.
And so as we look at this, how is it that the identity of a woman and the identity of a man is under attack in the media? How is it that the marriage relationship is under attack in the media? How is it that the family is under attack? And talk about those things a little bit. Now, certainly there will be people, and I would encourage you guys to listen to this episode that's coming up on Friday, that go, dude, that's just way over the top. Yeah, I can watch a show and I'm just being entertained and then I move on. That's fine, but I disagree with you that that's a thing that can happen. I think those things can't help but impact us because we're allowing them into our mind through our eyes. And the Bible's clear about the eyes as the gateway to the soul, right? So the things that we're seeing, the things that we're allowing in, if you're telling them don't affect you, then you probably need to have a conversation with God. Because what you're telling me is directly opposite of what the Bible says is a reality of the way that God created us. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, and love to know your thoughts on that. Love to know your thoughts on the study that we're going to talk about on Friday, and also your thoughts just on media in general. How do we protect what we know to be the truth about who men and women are, about what the marriage is meant to be, about what the family is meant to be, in the face of all the media around us? Right? Not just movies and television, but TikTok and Facebooks and YouTubes and tweetering and all that. Yep. All those. That's right. Guys, any thoughts, questions, comments? We're at about 30 minutes. So we're gonna haul this in here pretty quick. Josh, man, give me that amen corner. Dude, thank you. Thanks for watching, by the way. It is getting hot in here. If you ever wonder why we just film in one little corner of our house, it's because it's the only corner that's kind of clean, or that you can't see the mess on the floor. We have popcorn every Sunday night, and I wish I could turn this video camera around. There is popcorn all over the floor, and toys, and it's a hot mess. So, that's right. Thank goodness for a clean little corner. That's right. Speaking of, tonight we watched Freebirds. Highly recommend. Yeah, if you've got young kids, it's one of those movies kind of like Shrek where it'll entertain the whole family, and it's Thanksgiving specific, right? So essentially the synopsis is a bunch of turkeys go back in time in an effort to change what the original Thanksgiving meal was so that turkeys aren't on the menu. Right. But it is really funny. Cute. Really funny. Yeah. And pretty wholesome for the most part. So yeah. Love it. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. I don't see any more comments or questions, so we're going to bounce out of here. Thanks so much for joining in and for commenting. That's right. Again, pop over to YouTube if you're a video guy or gal, Marriage by Design. Hit the subscribe icon and the bell to be notified when new shows come out. If you are an audio guy, you like to throw it on when you're running, or gal running, or doing laundry around the house or whatever, flip over to whatever your favorite podcast is, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. Any of the main ones should have it. It's Marriage by Design Podcast, and you can subscribe that way. Also, love you to flip over to our Facebook page, which you may have joined this link through that. That's who's hosting this video, and like that page as well.
Awesome.
Otherwise, guys, thank you so much for joining us. And remember, God is for
your marriage.